Hey guys, this is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist, and I'm with my man
Mike Green.
And right now we got another drive-by episode, and I'm honored to have Mike on this episode today because he is what you would call a true real estate guru. Not just somebody that can teach you the business, but somebody who is actively doing the business. Now, Mike is a rehabber extraordinaire, and I'm not gonna go into all the stuff that he's doing right now. That's what this drive-by conversation is going to be all about. So, Mike, tell people a little bit about who you are.
First of all, I want to be clear about what we mean by drive-by, because maybe just like driving for knowledge or something.
Well,
can we
drive.
change the name of the show?
Drive plus
I don't
B
do drive-bys
U Y.
anymore. I'm all legit now. No more drive-bys, all right? Because all I know is drive-bys like shooting, and then like you drive by and like fart on somebody.
Come on, you know it's a play on words, man. B U Y.
All right,
on.
cool. What did you ask me now? Who am I?
Who is Michael Green?
Michael Green's a house flipper, an insane maniac that loves to flip houses. I'm really into like metrics and measuring things, and just keeping it fun, but also keeping it profitable. So I don't have a whole lot of other stuff going on. I don't have a college degree. I'm kind of like Charles. I dropped out of school, just kind of got into being an entrepreneurial person, and this is kind of it, right? House flipping's it for me. So I spend every waking moment making sure I'm good at it because I don't really have anything to fall back on.
So that was something that you could say, hey, I know that if I didn't make it, I'm dead. I don't have nothing else to fall back on.
I'm definitely doing something I don't want to do. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Like working at Walmart, I'm doing something I'm just not real excited about. I always wanted to be in business. I know if you're listening to this, you're probably entrepreneurial spirit. And I just like doing stuff. I like managing things. I love the challenge. Flipping happens to be a great avenue to do all that, really.
And that's what's going to take me to my next question. Out of all the strategies you could have picked, why rehabbing?
So I'm really big on what makes the most money, and for me, flips have actually generated the most money for me, and always do, right? I mean, I love rentals, but you get a little rich when you're older. You get a little rich on paper, but I like to get rich today, so I actually have that money in my bank account in case I just want to do whatever, right? The freedom of having cash. I call it financial flexibility. I want to be flexible.
I like that.
And wholesaling can get you going, but it's not going to make as much money as rehabbing. And the hardest thing to do is to find a really juicy deal, right? And so I want to make as much money as humanly possible when I do.
So right now, I know people are complaining about the market and so on. Tell people exactly what is your business name and all that good stuff, and how is this market environment affecting you and what you're doing?
Well, I can tell you that, so here's the thing. When Corona first hit, everyone was worried, of course, right? I dove into just seeing what people around the country were doing, but instead of listening to the news, just really focusing on what was really happening in my flip business. Now, I had about 10 flips going on when Corona just hit one day, and I was nervous, but they kept selling. And what I kept seeing was that not only were they selling, but they were still selling really aggressively. And over a couple months, what really happened with the flipping industry is we lost our number one competitor, who is homeowners, right? And we lost all that. So now we're just literally competing against one other flipper. Most neighborhoods don't have 10 flips, they got one or two. So we started seeing an inventory shortage. And the thing that I learned, and I didn't know this before a couple months ago, that there's different markets. Like the real estate market is driven by inventory, and the stock market is driven by confidence. So when the stock market the stock market dropped, we know why, right? The confidence went down. But real estate, the inventory skyrocketed down instantly, and we already had low inventory. So now what we're seeing is houses that we'd make maybe 30, 40K on, we literally for the last 4 or 5 months have just been making 50, 60K averages, and just making I call it the Corona premium. We're making more money than ever. So when I initially kind of said, hey, you know what, let's step back and see how this goes, I've now doubled down. I'm getting through properties faster than ever, and I'm just doing them quickly because we probably won't ever have a better opportunity to make money as house flippers right now. And there'll be a time in the future where maybe this kind of opportunity comes up for rentals or anything else. But as entrepreneurial people, we have to pay attention to when there's something that's more opportune. And right now we're in a very opportune time to flip a house.
So what does Mike's Green real estate business look like right now?
Right now, since I have nothing else to do, I'm just working. I'm focusing on my flips. getting them done faster. I'm picking stuff that I can get through quickly. No, tons of permits or any kind of second floor additions. I'm getting real bread and butter right now because I don't want anything that's going to be long term. Because I don't know what like 18 months or a year brings. I do know for a fact, and I feel very comfortable that if I'm in and out 4 or 5 months, that I'll be comfortably making money, and the market's not going to change overnight. So Mike's business is it's actually really back to the basics, because Corona scared me into like veering off and having that ADD, shiny ball syndrome. It scared me a little bit out of that, which was a good thing. And so business is better than ever because I was so afraid of losing money and potentially losing my opportunity that I've been digging into stuff. So I am working more than ever, though. I will say that. You guys, if you know me, I only work about half a week at my flip business. I've definitely been working full time now, but mostly to take advantage of the amazing opportunity we have right now. That's the reason I've been diving in and just, working super hard to get that going, man. Why miss out?
So just as a bonus, everybody that leaves a comment on this actual video, we're going to have it all over the internet. So everybody that leaves a comment, I'm going to give you my stages for rehabbing a property cheat sheet. So just leave a comment and you'll get your hands on that. Mike, you mentioned a couple things in your last thing you just got finished saying. You talked about the type of houses and how you streamlined your process. So give me a idea of the perfect townhouse deal for rehab and the perfect single family house deal for rehab. What does that look like?
So townhouse for me, I know like Baltimore has a lot of like sketchy neighborhoods when it comes to townhouse. So for me, I like to at least to be like $150,000 ARV or plus, because I notice if I get a little lower, especially now, the one thing that did get hit a little bit is lower credit scores. Definitely the mortgage market's a little bit tight. So we find that like if it's maybe like $150,000 to $200,000 ARV for a row home, that's going to be pretty awesome. And honestly, anything beyond that, row homes are pretty simple, pretty predictable. But we don't want to get into like real like 590 credit, because those programs have went away for a while, and they'll probably come back, I'm sure, but they're not doing so well right now. Now, detached home, I just looking right for about 200 ARV to around 350. I don't care if it's in the counties in Baltimore, and I just want to see that there's a good buyer's pool for them. I like them to have bedrooms and baths. I'm really big right now. Almost everything I'm doing is at least 4.3, and they don't always have 4.3, but over the years I've figured out how to squeeze it in. I've been watching a lot of episodes of Tiny House, and I'm figuring out how to get like 4.3s and like 1,100 square feet. But they're selling really well right now because people want that extra room for a home office. These are the things people are looking for, and they want to get a lot for a little, right? Spend $250 but have 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. They don't want to move a lot, right? They want to be able to accommodate a growing family.
Now let's say I'm a wholesaler,
okay,
and I want to send Mike some deals. What are some of the zip codes that Mike love properties in?
So, I mean, I couldn't even, some of the zip codes, it's like a million zip codes. I like Baltimore County, AA County, Baltimore City, and I like PG County. So I got a really wide range. That's just because I've been doing it a while and I've gotten good at a lot of those neighborhoods. So send me anything. Better focus would be the ARV. If you think it's worth around like $175, under 400, I'm in usually, as long as, it makes sense and the numbers are good. I'd be buying it super quick.
So I take it with that streamlined and that process in place, you could get in and out turning on a dime.
Yeah.
As quickly than almost anybody else.
So right now, money in, like the day I settle and put money out in, to my money coming back when I settle is running about 4 months. So that's, and then sometimes sooner, but averaging 4 months, because one thing might be 5, one might be 3. But the reality is 4 months. I feel really good about that, because not that I'm proud of myself, because I can make money at 5, but I want to be safe right now. I know, 9-month deals they might be a little risky.
Yeah. So what is your deal flow per month now? How many deals a month you guys are up to right now?
Well, so I've been scaling down the profit up. That's been my big thing. I've been
doing
that since really
yeah.
early in 20, maybe late 19, before Corona, and it just happened to really go well with Corona. So I was scaling down from like doing 40 or 50 houses a year down to just doing 2 a month. But what I was finding, and me and Charles just briefly talked about this, is that when I do like 10 houses at a time, I make the same money as when I do 6 to 7 houses at a time. So that logically, you might be listening saying, well, how does that make sense? The reality is, if I have less houses, I focus better on them, less stuff falls through the cracks, and profitability skyrockets up on the lesser houses, right? And also, it doesn't stress me out as much, and there's just less room for error. So I'm finding that around 6 to 7 houses in inventory is perfect for me, doing about 2 to 3 houses a month, just loving that. And my money is literally, I'm making just as much as last year, on track to do about maybe 27 this year. Last year, like 43 I did. margin, but my money's actually greater this year. I've already reached almost right now. I'm very close to last year's profitability.
Got you. Now, I know with a team that you have, the amount of deals that you're currently doing, how are you coming across these deals? Is it a combination of marketing and wholesaling and this, or how are you getting these leads?
Well, I mean, this is going to shock you because Charles and I used to work together in the past because he's the man when it comes to marketing. And, over the 11 years, we've done everything. We've done $25K a month in marketing. We've done just about everything you could imagine, down to TV and radio commercials and stuff. But what I'm finding is, and a coach told me this and it made a lot of sense, he's like, look, you could probably make any of these things work, any of these lines in marketing. I've decided to just make MLS and literally like referrals and wholesales, all free sources.
Nice.
My only thing I need to do. And because I'm only doing like 2 houses a month, it actually is working. I've been very abundant. I'm actually getting more deals than I need. But I think the secret to that, not telling you to jump to the MLS, because obviously it's just choosing something and mastering it. That's really the secret behind it. And it could be PPC, it could be bandit signs, letters, cold calling. But whatever you decide to do, don't do 10 things at once. Do one thing and just crush it. That's really what was working for me.
So basically, you've mastered the classic strategies of marketing: referral-based marketing, MLS marketing, and utilizing wholesalers.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
love it.
And which means that your marketing budget got to be damn near close to zero.
So I just started a PPC campaign
Okay.
just to add a little something extra. We're always like, oh, well, let's do more. But, because also I got some people I can wholesale to that I want to get some deals for. But that's like $2,000 a month. That's it. And
Gotcha.
when that wasn't running, as of like 45 days ago, I was spending zero. And I'm like, never have I ever in this business spent zero at marketing. And literally on track to make as much money as when I was spending $10,000 a year, about $9,000 to $10,000 a month. I'm sorry, $9,000 to $10,000 a month. That's what I was spending about late 19, and just I just said, let's see if we can cut it out and let's see if we can make it work. When you're challenged to make something work, you take another thing away.
Right.
You make that thing you have work. So MLS, I've been crushing it because I'm giving myself a choice. I'm like, you're either going to do it or you're not going to eat.
So failure is an option.
Not an option.
I love it. So go ahead.
No, I mean, I guess I could start my marketing back up, but I don't want to do that.
Exactly. So let's go down that path of somebody who is hungry. They want to get into the business. Where do you see the business at right now, and how should a new person who wants to get in the business get started now?
I mean, look, you got to get a coach. Charles, there's great coaches out there. You got to get behind someone who's going to help you. I still work with a coach. I'm 11 years in, over 1,100 flips. And I mean, I spend $3,000 a month with a coach. We talk every week. And look, people are like, what is he teaching you? I mean, look, I'm teaching me a lot. Like that MLS thing that I mean, saved me $80K this year. So I've already made money on my coach. And that's not a plug for anyone. That's just the truth. If you're trying to do it on your own, I'm going to be super honest. You're going to struggle. This is not something even I could figure out on my own. Charles had coaches in the past.
Absolutely.
Everyone I know who's successful at this is started with a coach. Now let's move past that and get to like the real, like, okay, well, what do I do? Like, pick something you're going to do and market to that and learn it, right? Just one thing, get really good at it, become the master. MLS, I'll give you an example of that since that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I can go work the MLS for 2 weeks. It doesn't mean I get deals instantly, but every day I get like hot opportunities, and the compounding effect of hot opportunities then following up with those opportunities starts to give me rewards. And that's going to happen with bandit signs, cold calling, because people, how long do they usually cold call before they quit, right? If it was me, like 2 hours. Right? But some people might make it 2 weeks. But you know how it works. It might take even like 2-3 months to get your first deal. But what I've seen, and I know you've seen this a lot too, is that you put that 2 months in, you get your first deal, and then the residual effects of the work you've already done and the work you continue to do, it just starts raining deals. And I've heard people say that, like, Mike, you just rain deals. I'm like, nah, man, I put a lot of work in you didn't see, and then the deals rain later.
Exactly.
So it's like planting that seed and then getting your harvest in the summer and the spring. So without that, let's get into some nuts and bolts. But for me, just pick if you need leads, right? That's where we got to start. When any business, you need leads, you need that. You got to pick how you want to do that. Now, for some people, that's going to be cold calling. Some people, it's going to be bandit signs. It's going to be PPC, letters to absentee owners, whatever that might be. Just do it right, like we said earlier, right? Make sure you have a clear plan for it. And then next, make sure you're in it for the long haul. Because what I've seen is that I've never seen any marketing source that doesn't work if someone sticks with it long enough to make it work.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, because I'm a firm believer that all marketing works when it's done right.
when it's done right and you stick with it long
Exactly.
enough. Some of it has different life cycles, right?
Exactly.
You might like, I don't know, I'll give you an example of probably my most profitable deal in flipping. We made about $240K on a house in Chevy Chase, but I sent letters that at Montgomery County probate for a year and got one phone call, and I happened to close it. It's the only reason that campaign was profitable, but that's some pretty slow stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason it went that long is because I wasn't paying attention with everything else, and I didn't know it was underperforming. So the reality is, if you could stick with anything and really keep tweaking and working on it, you can make it profitable. So really the best advice I can give you if you're new is really learn what you're doing, really do more planning and then take action, but take very calculated action. And as you're taking that action, give yourself time to understand it. I've seen people take 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. When they crack the code, they can just keep doing it, right? It's like something you can always lean back on, and then you get better at it over time. Now, the biggest risk when you get into this is you just getting in for 2 weeks and quitting, right? Or a month and quitting, or getting really excited for a weekend. You've got to stay, man. And if you can stay and you can be part of something, this is why I love being in masterminds and doing cool stuff and studying. Because so a good MLS deal, I mean, is going to be profitable. I like to make around like 25 to 40K. Now, I'm not going to be able to make that much on the front side because, look, it's competitive. So if I try to make 40, I'm probably not going to win many. But if I'm trying to make like 30, I find that I can usually dial that in. But for that to work, you got to have your rehab costs dialed in, your timelines dialed in. You can't just come in and make 30K and take 9 months to do a rehab. So a good deal for me is going to be around like 40 to 80K in renovation. It's going to be in a neighborhood that has consistent comps. That, you know, it can be even slightly sketchy as long as things are selling. I mean, we do a lot in neighborhoods that I might not live in. I might be too afraid to live in, but as long as it's selling, what do I care? As long as people are buying and I'm comfortable. And a lot of times they're like 200 to 250K neighborhoods. There might just be some sketchiness around the neighborhood. We don't worry about that too much. We want something that we know we can add value to, and we know that the people buying it are going to appreciate it. So this is why I don't do it in high-end neighborhoods. I've done like 150K renovations in high-end neighborhoods, and they like laughed at me. They're like, "Oh, it's cheesy looking." That's what they told me, it was cheesy. That still hurts me today. But you know, I just wasn't in tune with what they liked. But I can tell you, when we do our nice granite and stainless steel, and we do a couple accent walls, man, that's so much better than most people are used to when they're coming from their mom's basement or apartment complex. They really love it and they appreciate it. And you know, you're filling a big part of the market when you're in that first-time home buyer market. So that's where I really love MLS. I'm focusing all first-time home buyer.
Gotcha. So if you was to say, okay, this has been the reason why I'm where I'm at today, what would that sentence look like?
Oh, I mean, it's just relentless, man. I mean, I fail all the time. People think because I have a lot of success, I don't fail. I would say the only thing that I've learned is like how to fail with some grace and then just stay at it, right? And just because like most of the stuff that I need in order to be successful doesn't come until I fail, and then pay attention and analyze my failure and figure out how to go forward with a better plan.
Now, you've scaled your business to a level where you're producing more and doing less. What kind of systems and tools you have right now in place that has allowed you to really maximize your time?
So honestly, it's been about getting aggressive about cutting things out, man. I don't even know if I got time to do this interview. But I love Charles, so I'm doing it anyhow. But, you know, I like doing this, and sometimes we do things that we feel like we need to do versus paying attention to what makes us money. So aggressively, I got this CFO guy off Upwork to work with me, and he looked at my last couple years, and he's like, "Here's all your money's being made, Mike." And he's like, "I know you love doing this, but you gotta get rid of it because it ain't serving you well." So that's not always easy to do. There's a lot of things we think that look good, like doing volume.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I did 100 houses this year. We can all high five each other, but really it just comes down to profitability. If you could make $1 million a year doing 5 flips, then do it. It's a lot better than doing 150 flips to make $1 million. So for me, it's been aggressively just cutting out the stuff that isn't making me money, that isn't making my life better, and not serving me very well. And that isn't, you know, you got to take some deep diving to do that. I'm still in the dive right now, about 9 months later.
Final question. What's next for Mike Green?
Mike Green is just going to keep doing what he does, man. I don't have any exit plan with me on the beach, my toes in the sand. I actually love flipping. I think I heard Gary Vee say this, man. He's like, you got to love the journey. I fell in love with the journey in the last couple years. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it. I love helping other people do it, and I love just getting better at it. It's become a really big game of chess for me that I get paid very well for. So Mike Green's going to be flipping houses 10 years from now. I don't think I'm changing my mind. I have no retirement plan. Other than if I can remember what a flip is, I'm in.
Okay. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is Charles Blair with my man,
Mike Green.
and I'll see you guys on the next drive-by interview. But remember, if you want to get a hold of my stages cheat sheet before rehabbing a project, let me know. Leave a comment in the actual comment section. And until I see you on the next video, take care, be safe, and love life. Bye-bye.